morning, everybody. I toast to you and all you do. I hope you're having a fantastic day today. And my apologies, I didn't make a video about the eclipse and the dark moon and all of those things that happened at the beginning of the month. The eclipse and all of the things that are going on right now have just, it's just been really busy. So I hope that you enjoyed your eclipse. Just a brief thing on that. This is a time of new beginnings. This is a time to begin something new. This is time to start that new path. We've been talking for a whole year almost about how the universe is getting us ready for this big transition. We are stepping forward in this age of enlightenment, in this spiritual evolution. And it's really time to take those steps. It's time to look around at the foundation that you have, what things need to be healed, what things need to be fixed, what things need to be carried forward, what things need to be let go of, and really begin to step forward. Really allow that healing to happen. Listen to the cues you're getting from around the world, from the universe, from the people around you, from your own internal self, and really see that it is time. It is time to make those changes. It is time to make that step and to just really build this amazing foundation and know that you are supported by the universe, you are supported by your community, and that you are your own inner authority and that you have this power. So, with all of that said, let's talk about some other things that are going on right now astrologically. We had a big thing happen on the 21st yesterday, which was Jupiter and Uranus becoming exact conjunct. And this is a big moment of change, of expanding. We see around the world, we see lots of watery things happening. There was a volcano that exploded in Antarctica. There is flooding all over Dubai. They got more rain in that region of the world than they get in years. And they got it in one day. And it wasn't just Dubai that's suffering from this tragedy. It is that whole region of the world, from Iran to Iraq to that whole little corner, is flooded. We have crazy things just happening. We have truths expanding all over. You see things coming out about famous people, about government people, about everybody. I think that truths are just being revealed. If you are questioning something and you ask, the universe is going to show you that truth. So I would say be careful what you ask, but at the same time, these are truths that we need to hear. These are the truths that we need. It is like these are what needs to happen. And with Uranus and Jupiter being conjunct, it is really bringing in this idea of breaking down old things, expanding these new ideas, and making these big dramatic changes. So you might see some people who are making huge dramatic changes, and others are just allowing their truth to flow and really feeling that. And so this is a beautiful moment. It only happens every 14 years. So if you think back to the last time this happened was 2010. So think back in your life to what was going on in 2010. When we had our tea and astrology on Friday, and I was talking with a group of people about this, I was obviously the oldest person in the room, and a couple of the girls in the room, I say girls because they're young, but a couple of the ladies in the room were like, well, I was 7 when that happened. Like, okay, so that might be a little harder to remember back then. But think about 13 years ago and what changes that you were making in your life, and you kind of see this cycle coming, full circle. And so now we are again at that place, and you are probably feeling these changes, feeling this expanding energy. And it is really here to help you find the confidence to step forward and to expand your own energy. So the full moon that we have coming up is in Scorpio. And here is our full moon chart. I got a new layout for my thing, so we're seeing if this works. I decided it's too small. But aside from that, as you can see, we have a lot of planets over here all together. We have a really big conjunction going on that's still continuing from before with Chiron, Aries, Chiron, Eris, Mercury, and the North Node all being very closely conjunct. Even Eris and the North Node, which are the furthest from each other in this conjunction, are only 9 degrees apart. So all of them fall within this 9 degrees. They are all in Aries, and they are all really pushing you to take those first steps, to take those big steps, to make those changes in healing and justice. And then Mercury being in retrograde in this conjunction right now brings in this reality check. I've said this many times before, but Mercury's energy is really thoughts, words, actions, and that flowing of energy and that connection of energy. And if your thoughts, words, and actions aren't aligning right now with you loving yourself, because Venus is in this conjunction, and really honoring the truth with Eris, and then honoring yourself and healing with Chiron, and stepping into this new beginning with the North Node, Mercury is really going to call you out. Mercury is going to say, hard stop. Let's look at this problem. Let's really think about why we're having this disconnect, why our thoughts, words, and actions aren't aligning, and what we can do to make that happen. And often that comes from this notion of who is your authority. If your greatest authority is an external source, but you're thinking and you're saying and you're like, these things just don't align. If your own authority and your highest authority is yourself and comes from inside, then more often than not, your thoughts, words, and actions will align, because you'll think something. Your own authority will confirm that. Your words will speak your truth, and your actions will follow through with that. So Mercury is going to call that out whenever it's in retrograde if there is a problem. And so often when I meet people who are like, oh my God, Mercury's in retrograde, it's the end of the world, I can't do anything, I often want to just tell them, like, stop, take a moment, think about where your own thoughts, words, and actions aren't aligning. You know, you have someone who says, I have a problem, I need to fix this problem, and then they go and they do the same behavior that leads to that problem. Mercury is going to call that out. You see this a lot with people who have addictions, with people who have self-deprecating behavior, negative self-talk. All of these kind of things kind of get called out. And the more of those behaviors that you have that go against your own self, that keep you from finding that alignment, well, then you're going to have more problems when Mercury goes into retrograde. Especially I feel right now with the conjunction that's happening, Chiron and Eris are quick to call out. Chiron and says, here's the truth that we need in order to heal. And Eris says, here is the truth that we need to hear in order to step away from like these superficial, fake, non-important things that we have attached ourselves to. And we need to focus instead on the true values, on the truth, on justice, on, doing the right thing. And so all together, it is really this push for you to listen to your own authority, to love yourself, to heal, and to really step forward in that truth. And so all of this together, like I said, is really that push forward. And in alignment with Jupiter and Uranus being conjunct, and the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse that we just had, is all really this, like, it's almost like a slap in the face. Like, it is time to make these changes. It is time to allow that healing. It is time to step forward. We also have the sun and the moon right now square to Pluto. So this is, again, another one of those truth calling. I guess, wait, let's take it a step back. Let's talk about the sun and the moon for a minute. So the sun is in Taurus, which is our simple, grounding, like base energy. This is the energy that we can just sit in and we can be comfortable in, and we can really find that joy. Where Scorpio, on the other hand, is that fiery, passionate, really active, complicated energy. And so we have this axis between simplicity and complexity, between what we need and what we want, and really finding that balance between those two things. And then being square to Pluto calls in this truth. Pluto calls out, like, what changes do you need to make? What truths do you need to hear? What secrets need to come out? What is it that you need in order to step forward to find balance on this axis? And we have that truth calling out with that big conjunction. And we have this expanding energy with Jupiter and Uranus. So we are really in this moment of expanding truths, calling out falsehoods, stepping forward into our healing, and really being able to balance our foundation and what we need with our fiery passions and that complexity of all of the things that we want. And where do we find that balance? And so it really encourages you to step forward and to know where you came from and what you want and what you need to do to, like, get that balance, what truths you need to see, where you need to be to heal, what you can do to really find that the beauty in the middle of those, that perfect axis between what I want and what I have, where I come from and where I'm going. We also have Pluto is still sextile to Neptune, and Neptune is conjunct with Mars, and then Neptune and Mars are also sextile to Uranus and Jupiter. It almost makes a minor trine. It's just ever so slightly off. Pluto is just a little too far to be trine to Jupiter and Uranus, but not by a lot. What is it? 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So that's 8. So they're 13 degrees apart. So they're almost in a trine. But altogether, Mars and Neptune together really call out your spiritual warrior, your intuitive pride, your, this power that you have in your own spiritual awakening. Pluto encourages that by pushing you forward to make that change. And Neptune and Uranus on the other side, like, flood you with this expanding energy to really step into that pioneering warrior and to step forward and say, okay, this is what I need to do. This is what I want to do. This is what I need in order to have this spiritual evolution and to really step into my own light, and see that from, like, a higher perspective, because Neptune always gives us that higher perspective. So we've got this higher perspective, we've got these deep truths, we've got this expanding energy, then we've got all this healing energy, we've got this beautiful access. We just have all of these things kind of coming together right now, really encouraging us to say, I am, and say it with pride, with honor, with, knowing that you have the integrity to back up who you are and what you believe in, and then do the things that need to be done. You see problems like we have right now with we're pushing the brink of world war. We have all of these places where people are using so many excuses to justify their bad behavior, but two wrongs don't make a right. You can't say it's okay for me to bomb these people because they're holding us hostage. Those two wrongs don't make a right. You can't say, oh, they stole this land from me 10,000 years ago, so I'm going to take it back now. That's just not how that. We need to step forward. We need to move forward. We need to know that these things are not helping us. There are enough resources in this world to make everything happen. We just have to be able to step forward and do that ethically. Do it justly. We have to remove the power from the people who don't deserve it, and we have to stop giving these people our authority. My daughter asked me 2 days ago, Mom, you used to buy that Carnation instant breakfast to put into your coffee. It was like chocolate milk. Why don't you buy that anymore? And I said, well, Nestle is a really bad company. Nestle does horrible things all over the world. They have poisoned and stolen the water from Ethiopia. They have poisoned the milk. They have lied to people all over the world. They've killed thousands of babies. They are doing all of these really bad things. And yet we all still go out and buy those little Nestle water bottles and buy the cookies and get the Carnation breakfast. And we don't think about where that dollar is going. But the energy that we're in right now is calling that out. It is calling that out on all levels. So if you don't believe in something, stop supporting it. And that's really where we're at. If you believe in something, then step up and support that. If you want to support minorities, then step up and do that. Go out in your community and do that for real. If you want to help anything, just stand up and speak that truth. Go down to the smallest levels, to the top levels, and what can you do to make that difference? I don't buy any Nestle or Bayer products in my house. It is really hard. Bayer and Nestle are everywhere, and you don't realize it until you start really saying, okay, I am not buying anything made by Bayer. There's a lot of medicines that we don't buy in our house. There's a lot of little things that we just don't purchase anymore. And like my husband really likes the Alka-Seltzer cold medicine, but that's made by Bayer, and we don't buy it anymore. It's done. We're just out. I can throw some baking soda in a cup if you want the little bubbles. We can do whatever, but we don't need to put our money towards something that is wrong. And what these companies are doing is wrong. And if we as individuals want to make that change, our dollar speaks louder than anything else. So our thoughts, words, and actions have to align. And that is the energy that we are being pushed with right now from the universe. The universe says, call out the bad, call out the lies, stop feeding into the BS, and really step forward into your own authority, knowing who you are and what you bring to the table, and that is amazing. It's not about equality. It's not about all of these things that we want to push for. If we want a world that's more equal, we have to stop trying to compare apples and oranges. We have to stop trying to make an orange into an apple, or we have to stop trying to change both the apple and the orange bring value to the table. They are both delicious and wonderful and have their own amazing things. And when we just allow that to be, and we support that and we honor that, and we're like, okay, this is what it is, then that's amazing. If you step to the table and you're like, I am whatever it is, that is the amazing thing. Even if it's something that goes against social norms, even if it goes against, your upbringing or what you thought was reality, that's okay. It's important that we step forward healing, and that we step forward in these real truths. You see a lot right now of people pulling truths out of everywhere because they cannot just accept their own truth. So they're reaching for something that's not theirs. They're reaching and reaching and reaching. It's like you see, I guess this is the best example that I can come up with out of all of the things that just popped into my brain. But when you see like gays for Hamas, where is the truth in that? I mean, I am in full support of the people of Gaza being released from the tyranny that they have been persecuted for because of the location of this place, because of history, because of years and years and years of hate. Okay, we need to stop that. We need to just let go of the hate. We need to just step forward, and we need to stop. Okay, but when you say gays for Hamas, that's like a the only thing that I could compare that to is like saying minorities for the KKK. Like that's the same thing. And so this is not a reality. This is something that we are clutching onto because we're looking for a cause, we're looking for a purpose, we're looking for something to really hold on to, when really we need to be looking to our own inner authority, and we need to be saying, gay, straight, in between, everywhere else, it doesn't matter. These people are people, and they need to be treated just as any other person deserves to be treated. And you treat people the way that you want to be treated. And I feel like if that golden rule was taken everywhere and was really taken, like, this is something that we as a world could really step forward. It doesn't matter your race, your religion, your creed, your color, your family, your anything. We can all say we want to treat people the way that we want to be treated, and then this world would be a better place. Because nobody wants to be treated poorly. No one wants someone to talk down to them or to be rude to them or to do any of these kind of things. Everybody wants to step up and say, hey, I am the best person, and you are the best person, and we are the best people, and we are going to do this. And this is what the energy of the universe is really calling on us right now. With that huge tangent, let's bring it back to astrology and just talk about the one little last thing that's going on right now, because it is a very unique aspect. I call this a bowl of plenty, but as you can see here, we have the sun and the moon, which are, oh, my brain just lost the word. They are across from each other at opposition. There it is. And then as you can see, we have the moon sextile to Vesta, which is sextile to Juno, which is sextile to the sun and moon, creating these two trines right here between Juno and the moon, and Vesta and the, oh, I'm sorry, that's the moon. Between the moon and Vesta, the moon is also conjunct to Haumea, bringing in this beautiful, like, new beginning, prosperous energy, something out of nothing, but also doing it in the right way. It's not done with malice or selfish intention. It is really done for the right reasons, in the right way, bringing amazingness out of nothing. And then we have Juno, which is trine to the sun. So whenever we have these sextiles and trines together with that opposition, it is this really beautiful, supportive nature of finding the balance between those two things. And so when we're talking about the sun and Taurus and that foundation, and the moon in Scorpio and that passionate emotions, being supported by Juno, the committed wife, the devotion to our commitments. And also, and there is Vesta, who is the devotion to our passions. So again, we have our passion and we have our commitment. We have our foundation and we have our, like, we have our simple foundation and we have our complex emotions. And all together on this spectrum, it is really like this beautiful push to find that balance between what you need to do and what you want to do, but between your own commitments and your passions, and really find this beautiful balance. And when we find that balance, we find that we are more successful. You know, they say people who love what they do are more successful because they love going to work every day. If you go to work every day and you're like, I hate this, you're not going to be nearly as successful as if you go to work every day and you're like, this is amazing. I mean, you look at someone who works in corporate America, has the potential to be making millions of dollars every year, but absolutely hates their job, so they never find success, versus the lady who works down at the diner, who loves her job, does a great job, makes money, does the three things that she needs, has all of the things coming to her that she wants, or he wants, or whoever, and they are successful and happy and feel great when they wake up every morning. So it doesn't matter where you sit on the spectrum of finances or whatever you think is the value in your job. Every job at the table has an important aspect. You know, from the person who pumps your gas to the doctor who saves your life, things are important. And we wouldn't be able to get to the doctors if we didn't have the gas in our car. Like, this is what makes the world work, and everything is just as important. We just have to stop seeing it as this, like, crazy, like, I don't even know how to explain that. Like, I would almost say merit system, but it's not necessarily like we give more merits to these certain positions because we think they have some higher form. However, that doctor can not help you. Like, they're not always a good person. They're not always the right thing. Like, just because they're a doctor doesn't make them the best thing in the world and a better person than the person who's picking up your trash. The person who's picking up your trash is just as important, because you would die if you had trash all over around you. Like, we can look back in history. Before we had trash people and before we moved our trash other places, people were dying, they were getting sick, and the doctors couldn't save them. It's teamwork. Everybody brings something amazing to the table, and we all have this value, and we all need to see that value not only in ourselves but in the people around us. And as we step forward knowing that our passions and our devotions and our feelings and our stability and all of these things have this nice, amazing balance, we can present ourselves in a way that's like, hey, this is really amazing. We are all here at the table to make this amazing world, and we can all do these great things, and we can create this world that is amazing. So I just keep coming back around to this. And I guess until the universe has stepped through this doorway and we have really completed this transition, we're going to keep talking about it, because this is what the universe is beckoning you to do. The universe is calling to you to heal, to step forward, to speak your truth, to know who you are, to be comfortable in your passions, and to have a good foundation. And these are really the tenets that we need to spend our energy on, our everything. Like, we need to focus on achieving these goals. So, I think, let me just double check and make sure. I think that's everything. I mean, the big takeaway from this moon is I am with confidence. Like, that's what the moon is good at. The moon, the sun, the stars, the universe, the energy is calling to us to step into our own authority and say, I am whatever it is, and know that and step forward. I am a mother. I am a community leader. I am a teacher. I am a gardener. Whatever those may be, these are your truths, and speak them with confidence and know that that's who you are, and that is an amazing, beautiful, unique individual that is not only welcomed in the community, but needed and wanted, and provides such a great thing. And so we can all come together with that same energy, really providing this for not only ourselves, but for other people, and making these changes. My note right here says, building community through spirituality and compassion. This is the energy that we're stepping forward with. Knowing who we are and loving ourselves and the world and the people and everything around us with compassion. So I really hope that this moon we have tomorrow, because I don't know if I said that, but the full moon is tomorrow, April 23rd, 24th if you're in other countries, I believe. Might go the other way. I don't know. It's happening tomorrow, and it is really a big push to step into your light, step into your authority, know who you are, know what your foundation is, and really be who you are. Be the best you that you can be. So, with that said, I wish you a great day, and I hope you have a fantastic week.